What up with you? All right. All right. Let's get it together. Let's get our act together. Let's get our act together. Let's talk about it. Some of you guys are out there and you're not getting your act together. You concern me. I'm vexed. I'm very vexed. I'm perplexed. There's perplexity. I'm perplexed. There's perplexity in my voice. Because some of you, what's this guy doing? Some of you are not getting your act together. You're not saving your money. You need to save your money. Listen, I know that's hard to do, but you gotta save your money. I'm gonna tell you why. Because as we know it, the value of money is losing more value by the second. Now, because money is losing value, and it might just go down the mill, like be worth anything, there are items that you can get a hold of that will be worth some money, but it'll be worth bartering. Case in point, let's just say that you had $2,000. Let's just say you had $2,000. And you saw the collapse of our society coming, which we all think that it's coming. And you went out and bought hunting equipment. You bought some hunting equipment, right? And you said, well, we're not going to be able to live in houses. That's going to go the way of the dodo bird. So how am I going to live? Like, I can't stay in a city. That's going to become hectic. What do I do? And you come to the rational thought that I might have to live out in the woods. So wherever you live, you know there's a woodsy area near you that isn't very heavily populated. And what's most important about this area is there's game there all the time. There's either deer, there's rabbits, squirrels, birds, there's pheasants. I mean, there's all kind of game in this area that you can hunt. And so you decided, you're going to take off your Brooks Brothers suit. You're going to put down your AR-15, and you're going to pick up a bow and arrow. A bow and arrow is going to cost you, let's say you get two. You get a basic bow that'll cost you $100, and then you know you're going to learn more and more, so you get yourself a compound bow because there's a good chance that you might have to use it for combat as well. So you're like, okay, I know it's possible that I might actually have to shoot somebody with this bow and arrow. So let me learn how to do this. Now, let's just say you decide to go out hunting, and then all the manufacturers shut down, so they're not building any arrows anymore. So what are you going to do? You're going to make your own arrows. You're going to start hunting with these arrows, and guess what? You're going to get good at it. You're going to get really, really good at making these arrows. I mean, when you hit a deer, yeah, pow, that thing. I mean, you took it back to the day of the Aztecs. You're just good at it. So you have a skill. Now let's just say you also bought with that hunting gear, you also bought things to just keep you alive. Like you bought a flint so you can start fires. You bought hunting knives and, just other equipment. You took $2,000 and you invested it in your future or the once possible future. See, now you have skills that can help someone. Now you have skills that you can actually barter with. And you probably got a bunch of stuff that you might not need that you can actually take and barter those things and acquire other things while you're at it. So you're not just giving stuff away and not getting anything. You're like, yeah, I have arrows. What do you have? You could be sitting on a stack of, 500 arrows. And these are good arrows. These are, you know what I'm saying? This is good wood that you meticulously, you got into it. You know how to make an arrow that can hit a deer from 300 yards. You're just good. And you start making bows. So you have your compound bow that's manufactured. You decided, you know what, I'm going to make my own bow. I'm going to figure out how this works. Now you got yourself one of these bows that you don't even have to hold like this. You can just rapid fire. Haul off 2 or 3 at one time. You have a quiver, and instead of your quiver being back here, your quiver's actually up here. So this way you can you got yourself an automatic bow and arrow. I'm just saying, you become so good at what you did that you're able to take something and trade your skill. So even though money is going down more and more, you still may have some money now that you can trade for things that is going to be needed. Now, I thought about purchasing a bow and arrow recently. The bow and arrow I was looking at was, almost $200, and it came with 6 arrows. Now, I hunted with a bow and arrow back when I was 10. Also knew how to ride a horse back then too. So I hunted with a bow and arrow when I was 10 years old. My stepdad, he was poor, but he took on 6 children. And when he couldn't find work and, our food stamps ran out, one day he said, you know what, Tony? Let's go hunt for our food. And me being 10 years old and living in the city, of course I'm going, how are we going to do this? He's like, we're going to get a bow and arrow. And we got a green plastic bow and arrow, a little rinky-dink thing. And I got out there and started practicing with the little bows. And what he did, because there are small patches of woods in the city. So what he did was he had skills. He knew martial arts, and he was very light on his feet, and he was very fast. So what he did was he said, I'm going to go and spot for you. And I'm going to make sure the animal runs towards you and you shoot it. And that's how we hunted. And we found out that there are even squirrels and stuff like that. We found out that the animals within our region, some of them you couldn't shoot with the arrows that we had. I hit a dang squirrel head on. Wow, that thing hit the tree, and it was gone. But nonetheless, that's what we did. We went out to the river and we fished. We got crayfish. We didn't eat the crayfish though. We ate turtles though, turtle soup. So we lived off the land. That's how we did. We ate pigeons. We ate pheasants. We hunted these creatures down, and that's how we survived because we were hungry. So I can see us going back to that here because of what's happening. I don't have that kind of speed, but I got the knowledge. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to hunt a deer down and then track it down on foot with speed. But I can pass what I know on to somebody who can. Because when you hit a deer, that deer runs. And if you don't follow that deer, you're going to lose it. Something else is going to eat it. And they can run for miles. Same thing with a rabbit. You think little Fluffy can't defend itself, you're absolutely wrong. A city rabbit is no joke because it's used to humans. And they are super quick. And I've hit one right in the ribs before, and that thing kept going. So, nonetheless, we ended up breaking the bow we had, and I had to create my own bow. So we went out, cut some wood. We didn't have any more arrows. We had to make our own arrows, and we went all the way back, 100 years or more. 300 years. We went all the way back, even past that. And we had to hunt with bow and arrow. And we fished. And he taught me a bunch of stuff, how to scale fish, how to take their veins out, not get cut by the bluegills that would, slice you up, and then how to go ahead and, get the most out of, the fish and all that other stuff, and all of these other creatures. You just can't throw them in a frying pan. You have to be able to dissect them. These are skills that are going to be important. Some people may look at a rabbit and go, this rabbit ain't going to feed us very long. Well, no, it's not. But it will get you there. It will get you to the next day. Trust me. When I caught that rabbit, there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other people eating it. My mother would cook it up. She was surprised at us. She was like, what you guys got? We were like, we got a rabbit. Come in the house, there's Fluffy right there. My mother take that thing, scale it, yakety yak, 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 make some soup out of it, and we had a good dinner. We didn't wait on the system to feed us. Because he didn't have a job. So he would do odd jobs. And we had food stamps that would come on the 1st and the 15th. Well, shoot, they would run out within 2 weeks or less. We were just growing kids, strong and fast. So we ate through that food like it was nothing. And we had to move a lot because we were poor. We couldn't pay the rent. Then we ended up getting to a place that was government assisted housing. And we left that place because it was overran with roaches and rats. And they tore it down. The one house we had before we moved there, it burned down. Whole house burned down. My whole family is in the papers. You can still look this article up, and you can see my whole family right there. Because we escaped the fire. Only person you can't see is the guy, because she didn't meet him yet. So I was younger, She didn't meet him just yet. Or, I don't know, he wasn't there. I don't know something, but he wasn't there. So nonetheless, I'm telling you guys, save your money, because when the lights go out, what are you going to do? When you can't go get gas from the gas station, what are you going to do? When Kroger's is closed, what are you going to do? Stock up on your canned goods. I got to do that tomorrow. That's why I'm eating now. Because I usually don't eat a lot. But now I'm eating because I know tomorrow I have to actually do stuff. I have to be on my P's and Q's tomorrow. I did some stuff today too, but I just didn't eat a lot today. So I'm going to prepare today for tomorrow. And that way I'm thinking with all my faculties, that I need and all this other stuff. Because sometimes I'll go to the store and just pick up a couple things. And it's almost a waste of trip. But this time I'm actually going to go to the store with a plan. I've been grabbing water. I've been grabbing jugs of water. I'll just throw them in the back of my truck. But it's good to see them there. Some waters. So get yourself some purified water. And it wouldn't hurt if you had a purifier. Okay, so another thing is, I've been watching how people purify water. And one guy purified water with bandanas. And this was cool the way he did it. So if you're out and there's a marsh or something like that, you would make a tripod. Then you would have a bandana here, and then a third bandana. The first bandana is going to be filled with grass. The second bandana is going to be filled with charcoal. Third bandana is going to be filled with sand. Once that water goes through all of those, the water is going to be clear in the end. And then you take that water and you boil it. That way you kill all the parameciums and protozoas, because you do not want amoebic dysentery. So you kill all the parameciums and protozoas and anything else that's in there that, it's just no good. And can't survive 180, Fahrenheit, is that what that is? Anyways, you bring it to a boil, let it cool, cap it off. Now you have drinking water. Good, safe drinking water. I'm sure there's still going to be stuff in it, but your liver and all that, your digestive system's going to take care of it. So, you guys need to save your money. Buy something that can be traded later if the system shuts down. Also, learn a skill. Learn a skill. A real good skill to have is how to build stuff out of nothing. So let's just say that you have to trek it through the woods. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. Because the plants, they ain't playing with nobody. The high grass, everything. How you gonna do it? Well, first thing you can do is you can find a rock. You can find some rocks. You can find 2 decent rocks. Taking one rock and shaving that rock off to make some edge. To it make some kind of edge. Then you can take the base of that rock and tie it onto a stick. Tie it with something. There's some kind of grass or something where you can take and tie that thing on there. And or you can take the base of the rock and stick it through a hole in the club that you have, the piece of tree that you have. So you can take the rock, shave off another rock, Then take that rock, shave off the limb of the tree that you want, right? Shave that limb of the tree off, boom, you got yourself a nice limb, right? Nice thick limb. So you take that limb, take that same rock, put a hole in that limb. Then you take the other rock and you form it to where it can fit inside of that hole. And then you tie it on. So it's nice and sturdy. Then you take the base of this, this axe, and you make it so it's easy to grip. And once you do that, you can wade through the high grass and tomahawk the high grass, and you can also defend yourself against, feral cats. Hopefully you won't run any, but, you got mountain lions and bears and stuff like that. I mean, you can't get away from some of these things, but you can stand your ground. So you can get, a nice grip, and then, of course, people. So if you come across some people that want to act the fool, you got your little side acts that, you can tell them, look, going about your business, or you're going to take some of this axe. So you can build an axe just off of what's out there in the woods, and you really don't need no tools. And then you can take that and, cut some grass now, and then, continue on from there. You can also hunt with it. So I'm just saying, you guys, learn some skills. Because if society does break down, you're going to have to survive some kind of way. And if you're dependent on everybody else to help you out, nobody cares. Nobody cares. People aren't going to rush to help you out when they're hungry. They're going to come and take what you have. And one day the bullets will run out. So all these people who got all these guns, I mean, what happens when there's no more bullets? What do? You know what I'm saying? Now, that'll be a long time because there's a hell of a lot of bullets. But I'm just saying, you guys, learn how to protect yourself. Learn how to make stuff. Stop spending your money on goofy stuff you don't need. Stop spending your money on clothes you don't need. Accessories for whatever. You don't need it. Start thinking about your future or your once possible future. And the good thing about that is, even if that future does not come, if it doesn't get that bleak, you can get rid of all that stuff. You can sell it. Somebody's going to buy it. One good place to start off is the Army Navy store. The Army surplus stores. And I'm telling you what you should get if you're going to go there. A sleeping bag. Now, the reason why I say that is because when I went to basic training, I had basic training in New Jersey, and it was during the winter. So I'm out there in, 0 degrees trying to, sleep. And once you get into that sleeping bag, it was like being in a regular heated home. I kid you not. And that sleeping bag, I'm 6'2". That sleeping bag came all the way up over my head. And you can zip yourself into that damn thing. I'm telling you, it was amazing. So get yourself a sleeping bag if you're going to go that route. If you're going to go that route, get a sleeping bag. It's not going to hurt you. It's not going to be crazy expensive. And it's good to have. Some lighters, some batteries, flashlight, just stuff like that. Ways to light your house or whatever area that you're going to be in. You can illuminate your house with just about anything now. if you're going to stay moderate, there is a huge sale on solar panels and solar generators. For some of you who, are into that stuff, there's a huge sale. Some of these solar generators were going for $1,000. They're down to like $200. I kid you not. You can get a solar generator for $200, and we're talking about a 15-watt solar generator. I mean, think about that. 1,500 watts solar generator. You can power everything in your house. Your refrigerator, your basic refrigerator, not even your basic refrigerator. Your refrigerator is running off of 120, right? You can easily run that refrigerator, that stove, that microwave. You can run all of those off of that generator. That's gonna last. It's not gonna be that long. It's not gonna last you that long. You're gonna have to recharge. It takes about 3 hours to fully recharge, but nonetheless, if you want about 5 hours worth of running that refrigerator, and all those other things, you can do it. And if you cut down on that, you just need to keep things cool. You can run that fridge for 8 hours, and it'll be just fine. Ice maker and everything. So I'm just telling you guys, I have a generator, but I don't have one of those. I have a gas generator. So I'm telling you that, plus it's quiet. And, there's some issues with them, but nonetheless, if you're looking to survive and you need light and all that other stuff, these generators aren't heavy either. My generator, I cannot pick up with one hand. I can't curl it. I can pick it up, but I can't curl it. These generators, these solar generators, you can just head right out the door with it. So you guys got, a couple $100 and you're looking to invest something, get yourself a solar generator. You just can't go wrong with that. And I suggest, if you're going to get a solar generator, if you're going to get one, YouTube them, because there's a bunch of them out there. So YouTube them, just figure out which one that you want, because they all got some quirks to them. Some people like this, some people like that. Some people like the fact that one lasts longer than the other, as far as all the things you can run on it. Some of the generators, they charge faster than others. So if you're in constant need of power, you might not pick one generator over the other one. It might not put out as much power, but when it comes to recharging, these generators recharge in your car for one. So you can plug them right into your car and it'll recharge that way. It takes a couple hours. And or you have your solar panels. Now, one issue that I was looking at is where all of the solar panels would not hook up and run and help charge. So they were having a charging problem because he couldn't hook up all the solar panels he wanted. He could only hook up, one or two solar panels, and he wanted to hook up like 4 of them and have it charge faster, and he wasn't able to do it. So this was a disappointment for him. So if that's not your issue, but it's a good solar panel, it's a good system, and it has a lot of power. Some of these have 2,000 watts. So I'm just saying, if you're one of those people and you got yourself $300-400 in your pocket, you want to put it to good use that will last you, until get yourself some solar powered energy and take it from there. Now, I suggest if you go that route, you keep going that route, because you could get solar lights. So you can light up your whole driveway. You can light up your house actually with solar power now. So that's not hard to do. Also, I was looking at this one guy. I don't know how he did it because I'm not an electrician. But what he did was he ran his whole house off of a 9-volt battery. Kid you not. A 9-volt battery and an alternator from a car. That alternator transformed that battery power, and boom, that whole house lit up. I don't know how he did it. He explained it. I still didn't understand it because that's not my field. But nonetheless, so I don't know. I don't know if he used 2 9-volt batteries, 3. All I know is he converted energy, and what he did, he said you can run your whole house off of this generator, off of this, yeah. I don't know. I'm not that guy. I'm not smart when it comes to electronics. But I do, being that I mess with refrigerators and stoves and stuff like that, I understand 220, 120 very well. But when it comes to getting inside of that wall, I do know this though. If your box is not putting out 120 for that refrigerator is not going to keep cool. You're going to run into some problems. So the refrigerator turns off and on, right? Because of the compressor has to start putting out cool. And then when the temperature gauge tells the compressor that it's warm, the compressor kicks in, starts putting out more Freon. It keeps things cool. Well, that computer that's regulating all this and telling the motherboard all this information is constantly coming on and off, constantly coming on. If you don't have enough power that when it switches on and it ramps up and need an energy to get that 120 out of there, what it's going to do is only going to ramp up so far and it's going to stay right there. So let's just say you had 114 or 109, even 118 coming out of your wall instead of 120. What's going to happen is that compressor is going to kick on and it's going to go as far as it can go, and your freezer is going to freeze, especially if you have a French door, a side by side. Your freezer side is going to freeze from the bottom up. It's going to be cold, but as it comes up, it's going to get warmer and warmer and warmer. So if you have popsicles that are sitting on a top shelf, those popsicles are still going to be liquid. And your defrost system is going to start acting up because your defrost system kicks on and off. Your defrost system is defrosting any ice that builds up on your coils. So when that ice builds up, your defrost system kicks in and it melts it. Well, if that defrost system can't kick in and heat up and melt all of that ice, then that ice slows down the airflow of refrigerant that's going through your refrigerator, and from the top, and it'll start working its way down. Everything will start getting warmer and warmer and warmer and warmer. And when you open up your refrigerator, you'll think everything should be cold, but it won't be. But you'll think everything should be cold because you'll see frost. And when you see frost in some of these new refrigerators, something's wrong. It's your defrost system. You'll see a bunch of frost like they used to have in the old refrigerators. None of these refrigerators that are made today or for the last almost 20 years are supposed to frost up. They're all no frost refrigerators. So I'm just saying, if you're going to get into some things to help you out, learn some things about electronics. You can easily trade that. You know what I mean? Just saying, it's something that you can barter with. Now, I did see where a person was cooling their products with 2 flower pots. So they took the one flower pot, which is about this big, and then they took a smaller one, which is about that big, and they filled and they put one inside the other, stopped up the bottom of both of them, and put sand in between the two cracks all the way around. And then they took water and they poured water onto the sand and then covered up both of the flower pots, and whatever meat or whatever was in there kept cool like it did a regular refrigerator. But it didn't turn it to ice, it just kept it cool. So on a regular refrigerator, if you're trying to keep something, some people like cooler than others, but usually in between 40 and 46 degrees is what people like. That's what they like milk to sit at, their eggs, just their fruit. And some people like a little bit less than that. Some people will go like 38 because they want to see that little bit of frost that's on the glass when they open it up. That makes them feel, I don't know, it just makes them feel better. And if you put a glass of water in there and you see that, it just makes you think, oh, this is colder than usual. It's going to be a better glass of water. Milk is the same way. So I understand it. However, if you go under 38, you might start seeing some of your stuff start to freeze. It starts freezing at 32. So you might not want your stuff to be that cold when it comes to the refrigerator. So I say 40 degrees in the refrigerator and 0 degrees in the freezer. Now, sometimes people take a whole freezer and they'll pack it, especially if it's a bottom freezer. So if it's a 3-door bottom freezer, people will open that thing up and put everything in there and they'll pack it to the rim. The problem is, if you pack it to the rim like that, especially with ice cream and popsicles and stuff like that, and you're noticing that it's taking a long time for this stuff to get cold or to the temperature that you want to frozen solid, well, the reason why that is because it's sitting at 0 degrees, but you had it packed in there. So the airflow where the fan is, there's a fan kicking out all that air. And it's kicking out all that cool air. So if you have the same amount of air that's coming out, or if it's at the same degrees, it's not going to cool everything as if it was empty. It's going to be different because now it's full. And the air circulation is not going around like it should be. It's just like the wind chill factor. If you walk outside and they say, oh, it's 30 degrees outside, but the wind chill factor is, 18. That's because when the wind is blowing, it feels like it's 18 degrees, but if it's not blowing, it's 30 degrees. It's the same thing in a refrigerator. That fan is blowing that air around, so the air moving around is cooler. So when you put a bunch of stuff in your refrigerator and you fill it to the rim, the air can't move around as much. So it's not freezing everything. Some people just don't understand it. It's not freezing everything as fast. It takes it longer to do. So you have to either do one of two things. You have to take some stuff out of your freezer, and or you have to turn your freezer down. Now, I suggest both of them. I suggest don't pack your freezer, ever. Especially if you have a top freezer. Don't ever pack your freezer. Because what you're going to do is you're going to block the air that fan is kicking out. You can overload that fan. So now you need a new fan. Or you can overload that motor. Now you need a new motor. And or what's going to happen is that fan is going to turn off and it's going to freeze. And when that fan turns off and it freezes, you're going to hear it. It's going to start grinding on ice first. It'll go, and eventually it's just going to stop and you're probably going to crack it because it's trying to move but it's clipping on ice. And once that happens, now you have a whole array of problems that you're going to have to do it. You're going to have to defrost and, all this other stuff. But so I never suggest packing a refrigerator. So it's just some things to learn, learn how to filter water, learn how to hunt. Thank you for the like. Learn how to hunt, even a little bit. Learn what bugs you can eat and what bugs you can't eat. Nobody wants to eat bugs, but we eat bugs every day. If you eat peanut butter, you're eating bugs. And there's a bunch of other stuff that you can learn, and that will keep you going. Some of you don't know anything. All you know is food is already made for you. Some of you don't know how to cook. You don't want to cook because somebody's cooking for you. Somebody cooks for you. You don't cook. And in today's society, somebody's always cooking for you. Right? So you don't know how to cook. What's the point? What's the point in learning how to cook when somebody's cooking for you? So when I grew up, I learned how to cook. I'm very hands-on in my house. I learned how to cook real quick. Mama didn't play that. You're talking about what the fridge has happened to my freezer a while ago. Yeah, see? The fan had to be replaced. Boom, see? All right. My son overloaded the fridge. Yep. Overloaded the fridge. I knew better. Yeah, so, what I'm telling you is the truth. So I'm saying this because you can take that same principle. As a matter of fact, that's how these refrigerators were built. When they put these conceptual, refrigerators into practice and said, well, according to the wind, we can keep some wind going and we can get something to make it cool in there. Everything will freeze, but if we block everything up, it's not going to freeze as well. That's why there's a fan there instead of no fan. I mean, just think if they didn't think about this and said, well, anything within this temperature is going to freeze fine and evenly. They were like, no, that's not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? You can stand outside of Chicago in Chicago winter, and in one place is cooler than the other. If you're standing out on the block, on the sidewalk, you feel that wind, you're like, nah. But if you dip behind that wall, then it becomes tolerable. I mean, it's the same thing with a refrigerator. If your refrigerator this is in my face a little too much. If that refrigerator is not able to circulate air, it's just that fan is gonna collapse on you. I don't think it was a very smart idea to put the fan in the freezer. Tell me what you think about that. Well, here's the thing about that. The freezer. Okay, so what you have is a top freezer, all right, which is the style of refrigerator you have. There's either a side-by-side bottom or top freezer. That's usually, one of the three. Not unless you get something that's different. So your top freezer, the air is, okay, so the compressor's at the bottom of the refrigerator in the back of it. That's the motor that you hear when you're plugging in and it comes on. When the Freon starts pumping through your system, it goes through coils, then it goes up the back of your refrigerator, and then it has to be able to blow into your freezer. Wasn't a fan in a bottom freezer years ago? Well, there are still fans on the bottom. Okay, so there are two fans in your refrigerator. And in some cases, if you have a 3-door refrigerator, there are 3 fans in it. If you have a side-by-side refrigerator, there are 2 fans in it. So the first fan is a condenser fan. It's at the bottom of the refrigerator next to the compressor. And I'm sorry, that's the evaporator fan. Now, the reason why that fan is there is because the water system, when that ice melts, that ice goes somewhere. So what it does, that water goes down through a tube and it goes all the way down to the bottom of the refrigerator and it drips into a pan. When it drips into that pan, that water has to go somewhere. So that fan kicks on and evaporates that water. Then you have two condenser fans that are in your fridge. Depends on what kind of fridge you have. If it's a 3-door or if it's a 2-door. Where was the fan in the 70s? At the bottom of the refrigerator. There's one at the bottom and one at the top. In the 70s too. There's one at the bottom and one at the top. Now, before that, in the 50s and 60s, 40s, excuse me, it was all ice. They used to ship their ice from the Antarctica, and everybody would buy ice. And that's how you refrigerated your food. But if you have just a regular top freezer, you only have 2 fans in there. One in the freezer and one is at the bottom of the fridge. Now, when you say I don't think it's a good idea to have a fan in the freezer, the problem is, how are you going to push that air around? See, air cannot sit still and give you the fullest of its function. Air can't do that. Have you ever went outside and it was just and it was a hot day and you wish the wind would come? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, ice boxes. Yeah. So air has to be moving to give you its full benefit. It has to be moving when it comes to freezing. So the fan has to be in the back. That you can come up with a better idea on how to push that Freon through your refrigerator and push that air. Other than that, what will happen is the Freon will come out and it would just be stagnant. So what would happen is only some of your stuff would freeze. Only some of your stuff would freeze. And it would take a long time to happen. If I take a refrigerator that hasn't been on for a week, 2 weeks, it's completely at room temperature, and I plug that refrigerator in, it depends on which one, but the majority of the time, if I plug that refrigerator in, within 2 hours, that refrigerator is going to be at freezing. It'll hit 32 and below. That's because of the wind. That's not because of the Freon. It's simply because the fan is creating wind. That's the reason why. So it has to be there. Those fans have to be there to push that air around. I asked you because I know you are an expert. Well, I'm an expert to somebody who doesn't know anything about it. But I am not an expert. I'm the resident expert. But to somebody who's taken heating and cooling, I am a novice. And I'm learning that because now, see what's happening now are people are asking me to come out and fix the refrigerators instead of buying them from me. And it's usually somebody who bought one from me that told them about me. Because when people buy a refrigerator from me, it's a used refrigerator, right? So when they buy it, they're trusting me and saying, I just spent $500 with you or $300 or whatever it is. This refrigerator should work. And I'm going, you have a warranty. If it doesn't work, you give it back. So not only are they saying, okay, well, I have a warranty for 2 weeks. So, okay, they're going, I want this fridge to last me for a couple of years, even though it could be a 10-year-old fridge. So the last refrigerator I worked on was only 6 years old. It was still under factory warranty. The factory warranty is 10 years. So they called me up to try to fix it. And I told them, I said, I'm a sales guy. I'm not a tech guy, but I do work on it. That's why I only charge $60 an hour. If I was a tech guy, I would charge you somewhere around $90 an hour. It's very significant when you're there for 4 hours. But being that I don't have all of the stuff, and there's some things I told them I just won't do when it comes to a compressor or changing your compressor. I don't do that. But can I tell you if your compressor is good or not? Absolutely. I mean, I can give you some numbers that will, you'll have to sit there and do some math in order to figure out, how your compressor works or if it's working or not. But I can just, I can take the back panel off, and once I take off the switch that's hooked up to it, I just hook my meter up, and it's going to tell my ohms meter, and it's going to tell me if these three are grounded to each other. Now, in order to see if it's grounded, period, then I have to do some math. I have to figure out what kind of compressor it is, because there are three types of compressors, but now they have a universal compressor. But there are three types of compressors out. So whenever a compressor, you're not sure that it's working, what you can do, instead of just figuring out the ohms on it, you would have to test, okay, a compressor has three prongs sticking out of it. There's a switch that goes into it. When you plug your refrigerator in, the compressor starts vibrating. It turns on, but that doesn't mean that it's putting out Freon. This switch right here tells the compressor to put out Freon. So if this switch is bad, your compressor is going to be running and not doing anything. It's going to be cool to the touch. But if your compressor is warm to the touch, it's running correctly. So when you plug it in, you're going to hear the compressor kick on, and sometimes you might hear a click. That's this switch right here. You hear that switch go click. If you wait a couple seconds and you hear it go click again, it just told the compressor to cut off. So the switch is bad. But if the compressor, you're not sure if the compressor is good, there are some tests you can do to see what's wrong with it. I mean, you can open it up and look into it, but the easiest test is to see if the compressor is grounded. You have to take the switch off carefully. Then you have to take a meter and touch a hot wire to here, a ground wire to here at the same time. Then you have to touch a hot wire and a ground wire to here at the same time. And if this goes beep, it's okay. If this doesn't do anything, that compressor is not grounded. Something's wrong with it. Another way you can tell if a compressor is bad, if you have a 3-door or a side-by-side, there's going to be a panel in the back of that refrigerator. You probably don't have one because yours is a top freezer. So your motherboard is, I don't even know if you have a motherboard. Let me think. No, you don't have a. No, you don't have a motherboard. So if you have a newer fridge, if you have a Kenmore Elite 3-door fridge, Kenmore Elite 3-door fridge, you're going to have a motherboard that's going to be in the back of it. That motherboard is actually 2 boards in one. And also, that motherboard is controlling everything in the fridge. So if your fridge is not becoming cool, it could be because something went wrong with the motherboard, which is $300, or it could be because something went wrong with the compressor or one of your sensor switches. Now you have to find out which one it is. And a lot of times you can do it just by testing the motherboard. It's very tedious, takes a long time. But you have to have all these temperatures and all these readings that you have to have for that particular fridge. You have to have a tech sheet, go through the tech sheet. It's tedious as hell. But one good thing about it is there is a light on the back of the motherboard on some of them. And if you open up that motherboard and it's blinking, it depends on how many times that it's blinking. If it's blinking twice, there's a list that tells you how many times, if it blinks once, this is what this means. If it blinks twice, this is what this means. Well, if it blinks twice, there's something wrong with your compressor. That's it for you. If that refrigerator is 10 years old and that thing is blinking twice, it's time to get a new fridge. Because it's going to cost you $1,000 to fix it. This means somebody has to come out, take your compressor completely off there, but they have to do it first. They have to have all this equipment to do this. They have to take all the gas out of your refrigerator. Then they have to use a not welding, but they have to use some type of torch. They have to take a torch and heat up all of there's 4 wires that are holding that compressor in there and pumping fluid through it. So you have to take a torch and heat up all 4 of those tubes and disconnect all of them very carefully, burning the place down. And like I said, it's just a lot of work. And once you do that, then you unfasten the compressor and pull the whole damn thing out, and then put in a universal compressor. Once you put that universal compressor in, you can't even hook that thing up until you tell the motherboard what you're doing. So you have to have this computer thing. It hooks on into. All right, so if you hold on a second, I'll go get a motherboard. Hold on a second. I got you. All right. Let me know when this is to you. This is a motherboard from, I think this is either a GE or a Kenmore Elite. I think it's a Kenmore Elite. Nonetheless, so the difference between them, I can tell. Okay, so there's a switch right here. There's a switch right here. So this switch is often on the 3-door and the 2-door side-by-sides. So when you want to know what's wrong with the fridge, first thing you do is you run the fridge through its paces. So the fridge isn't warming, right? On the side-by-side, you take the back panel off and you have the fridge plugged in and you push your switch. You push that switch, it's going to kick your compressor in only in the freezer. And you're going to hear the fan come on. You don't hear the fan come on, you already know that's what the problem is. You're like, oh, okay, your fan is not working. So you go in, you test the fan, you see why it's not working, because it could be the housing. And then you say, you either need a new fan, you need a new fan motor, or you need both. That's about $69. It's between 50 and 60, depends on where you get it. So, oh, there's a fan right there. So, but if they both kick in and it's still not kicking out cool air, you hit this again. Boom. That tells the compressor to tell both fans to come on. So your compressor's running, both fans are on. Boom. Still not getting any cool air, hit it one more time. Boom. It's going to beep 3 times. That's going to tell the defrost system to come on. I might have that transposed, but that's going to tell the defrost system to come on, which means both of your fans, all your fans are going to cut off, and your freezer has a defrost system which is depends on which one it is, but it's going to heat up, and you're going to hear it crackling. It's going to start melting all the ice, and then once it goes through that cycle, you hit it again, boom. Now your fridge, this computer is controlling your fridge. So after you run it through all those paces, it might fix your problem. Sometimes you can unplug it, plug it back in, boom, everything comes back on, kicks in just fine, because this is controlling a lot of your issues right here. But this isn't the issue. When this is the issue, you have to look on it and see if any of these are burned out. You have to take it, turn it over, smell it, see if there's any burn marks on here. And if there is, like burn marks where this is soldered in on the other side, then you can actually replace this. You can replace the motherboard, but you can actually replace this. You can find out which one this is and get the part and then solder it back together. Boom, it's replaced. So it's just so many things that are the issue with refrigerators, but that's the first thing you do. Now, like I said, let me see if this one has a light on it. So no, this one is to a GE, I think. This one's not to a Kenmore Elite. I'm not sure. Not sure. But nonetheless, you have to play detective. I would have to look up the part number to see what it is. I would have to look this up to see which one it is. But so yeah, I would have to look this up. But there are other ones that have a control board, and they also have a PC. It's another board that's connected. So you'll have a control board and then another smaller board, and it'll be sitting right above the control board. Well, it'll have a blinking light, and that blinking light will tell you what's going on with the compressor. But the newer ones have both of them together, so they have an all-in-one system. So the light will be on there, this switch will be on there, everything. And this is how you can tell if it's an older model refrigerator, because it doesn't have that light on here. There'll be a blinking light on here somewhere. So when you plug it in, it's pulsating like this, or the light stays red. So if the light's blinking, it's bad, but if the light is continually staying red, then it's good. There's just a lot to learn about refrigerators, you know. And then once it's blinking red, you go blinking and you see how many times it blinks, and that will tell you if you can fix it or not, if it's worth fixing. Yeah, sometimes it could just be a switch, but if it's a compressor, you're finished. And then you have those 3 doors. They have, hell, some of them don't even have thermostats in them. I took one apart the other day. I thought I had a thermostat. Doesn't even have one. The control board is the thermostat. This blew my whole head back. Like, wait, what? Yeah. So I was like, wait, I thought I had a thermostat. Nope. Now the one I got downstairs is a Samsung, and it's within the same years. That thing has 2 thermostats. So you know what I'm saying? That thing got 2 thermostats. So this is kicking. I mean, I'm learning. So if you have a Samsung and it's a newer Samsung, well, and they say, well, it's not getting cool, and you start guesstimating what it is, you have to consider that it could be 1 or 2. Now, let's just say that they say it's not getting cool at all. So it's not getting cool in the freezer, and it's not getting cool in the refrigerator. You got like 5 issues just right off the bat where you're going, huh. So just like any car, I tell the customer, I said, well, here are your 5 things where it could be. And then I ask them, what is it doing or how did it happen? And if they say, well, it happened immediately, it was fine one day and it wasn't the other, that's a switch. That sounds like a switch. If they say, well, it happened within, weeks or months or something like that, well, you could just have a leak. So if it happens suddenly, well, it's a good chance it's either a switch or a temperature gauge. Well, you have to take apart the freezer to get to the temperature gauge. But if it's Kenmore Elite, you have to go down and take apart the freezer to get to the back panel, pull that out. There's a temperature gauge in there. That temperature gauge is $13, but you got to do all this work to get to it. But if it's a Samsung, you have to pull the top, everything out of the refrigerator on the top, pull it out, get to the temperature gauge and the thermostat, and this is on a 3-door. And you have to do the same thing for the bottom. You have to cut both of them out, clip, and the temperature gauges. You have to cut both of those out, and then you have to test them in freezing temperature and in room temperature. It's just a mess. So you got to take a temperature gun and say, this should be, you have to take a temperature gun to see how cold it is in there. So if it's room temperature, you already know something's failing. So you cut both of those out. Then you have to be able to take them to another refrigerator where it can read 0. Because when it's room temperature, it's open. When it's the same thing with your car. You have a thermostat in your car. When it gets too hot, it closes. So, or I'm sorry, I forgot the way it does on the car. But it either opens or closes. It's the same concept. So if you take it out, cut it out, and you test it in its room temperature, it's going to say that it's open, which means it's going to have continuity. That means if you touch your positive and your negative, or your hot and your ground wire to the 2 wires, it's going to go beep, 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 beep. That means there's a current going through it. Now, if you take that same thermostat and you freeze it, okay, I think that's when it closes. So you freeze it, it closes. Let me get my act together. It has continuity, it's closed. If it doesn't have continuity, it's open. I think that's what it is. So when you put it into a freezing temperature, it opens or something like that. One or the other. But that's how you can tell if it works. Each thermostat works under different temperatures. So you can't take one from a Samsung and put that one from a Samsung into a Kenmore because they both open at different degrees. I mean, it's so much. But now you know what you're dealing with. Some refrigerators have a defrost system in them on a side by side stainless steel refrigerator, or any side by side on the freezer side. Some of the older ones will have a defrost system where once it starts to work, it's a piece of plastic that has a coil running through it. And it heats up and it melts all the ice from the bottom up. Well, if you look at some refrigerators, you have just a wire going across. And when it heats up, it melts all the ice from the bottom down. There's just a bunch of stuff you just start learning with it, but it's all important. So people are just asking me to fix their refrigerators, and I'm learning all of that stuff. It's kind of cool because it's decent money, you know what I'm saying? But the bad part is if you can't figure out what it is, they can waste, they could spend $200, $300, $400 and not know what's wrong with the refrigerator. And then have to call in Sears and spend another $400 or $500 or more before they fix the issue. You know what I mean? So if you have a refrigerator and it's a good refrigerator, be nice to it. And if it starts making noises, then you're doing something wrong, or it's just getting old. Another thing is don't bang it around. Don't move it around all the time because you don't want that compressor to be on and be moving. The next thing you know, that compressor is going to start going. Whoom, 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 whoom. It's a moving motor. So you don't want to bang it up against something because it's a motor that's spinning around in it. It has all kind of moving pieces. And to get a new compressor, that's $150. Sometimes $250, depends on the fridge. It's just not a game that you want to play. And then for somebody to come and either fix the compressor or put another one in, you might as well get rid of the refrigerator. I'm just telling you, it's not even worth it. Most people with, like this customer I just had, they threw away a 6-year-old refrigerator because I couldn't figure out what was wrong with it. And I told them, I said, look, I ordered a part for you. It'll be in on Monday. They didn't want to wait until today. I worked on it two days ago, 3 days ago. They didn't want to wait for a part that cost them. I mean, just listen to the idiocy behind that. You spent $2,600 on this fridge 6 years ago. You spent $200 with me, and you're upset about that. You thought it was going to be $50, and I figured it out. There's no technician that's going to come into your house and fix a stainless steel 3-door, one that's only 6 years, for $50. Because nobody's going to do it. One, they don't even know what's wrong with it. When you say a refrigerator is not cooling, that could be 20 different things. That's just off the top of my head. That's without getting to the weeds. And the thing about it is some people's refrigerator wasn't working because their house was messed up. I had one lady who ordered a fridge from me, $500 fridge, real nice. I knew it was running right. She gets it there. She calls me a couple days into it. Fridge isn't working right. What's wrong with it? It's not freezing all the way. Okay. I go up there and look at it. I look for the defrost system. I couldn't find it because the defrost system was being ran by the control board. So I learned something that day. I said, okay. Then I start, kind of asking her questions. I said, has anybody worked on your house recently? She was like, yeah, my brother. She's like, he messed with the electricity. And now, we get 114 out of each socket. So just let me enlighten you people. If you're getting 114 out of each of your sockets, there's a couple things wrong with your house. One, your electric company might not have wired your house correctly. Two, the people who built your house might not have wired your house correctly. Three, the electric company might not be sending you enough power to your pole. Four, somebody could have went down and messed with your box and like build an add-on room or something like that and try to play an electrician who really wasn't one. And now your box is not putting out enough power. There's a lot of things that can go wrong with electricity. But nonetheless, when it comes to a side-by-side refrigerator, if that refrigerator is not getting 120 to 122, it will not freeze correctly. And after asking her several questions, she finally told me, what's going on. And I said, ma'am, this refrigerator will not work correctly. She got upset at me. So what I did was went and grabbed my generator. I was like, I'll be right back. I came up there about a day or so later, grabbed my generator and, grabbed my little, meters. And I tested her wall. I said, you're getting 114 out of here. This generator that I have outside is going to put out 120. And I took her outside and I plugged it in. I said, 120. You're getting 114. Then I called Home Depot while I was there and said, hey, can a side-by-side run off of 114? They said, no. Just to confirm what I was saying. It cannot run off of 114. So sometimes you people might be living in a house that has been rewired. So if something is not working in your house, now your TV is going to work fine. Your TV is not going. Your TV is going to work fine. Your your dryer is going to work fine. But anything that has to regulate, come off and on, and is constantly on, is not going to work fine. All right, everybody left, but it's good talking to you guys. I think I'm going to stick around for a minute. I feel like making. But thank you guys for stopping by and talking to me. I think I'm going to make some music though. I like this little jam. I have to start writing some songs. I write the song and make the whole world sing. What happened to Barry? Oh, Barry Manilow. I write the song and make the young girls cry. I write the song. I saw Barry Manilow in concert when I was 11. Yeah, I saw him in concert. And I just want everybody to know that I also grew up with nuns. I want people to know that I'm special. And not in a good way. Yeah, I grew up with nuns. And they like listening to people like Bobby Vinton. Yeah, they did. And, you would be listening to music like, "Up tie a yellow ribbon around the oak tree if you still want me." I mean, that's where, listen, I know I'm corny. I know this. I know it. But that's what happened to me. I was tainted by nuns. I can't help it. They made me listen to Bobby Van. Bobby Van already. Barry Manilow. Oh, God. Barry Manilow. Oh, my goodness. I was listening to white people for the longest time. Do you know where you're going to? Do you like things like they show you? Where are you going to? Do you know? Do you care? Is it open door? Ba 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 ba. I mean, I was watching The Sound of Music. Okay. So, oh dear, a female dear ray, a drop of golden sun. Me, I call myself and far a long, long way to run. Tea, a drink with jam and bread. No, I know to follow sound. Me, oh, come on. I'm tainted. That will bring us back to go, 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 go. I can't help it. I was watching West Side Story. Okay? West Side Story. I mean, when Tony died, and Maria, oh, Maria. Don't get mad at me because I'm weird. All right? Tony was my dude. And he died. The Sharks and the Jets. Oh my God. I love West Side Story. I'm weird, people. I am not the black man that everybody wants me to be. And I want to say this. It took me a long time to say this. I'm just going to say. I have finally embraced my weirdness. I felt good. There it is. I'm weird, strange, a little quirky, a little goofy. And I look like this. I look like I should be hitting somebody in the head with a 9mm, pistol. I should be pistol whipping somebody, but I can't. Because it's just not what I'm made of. I never owned a pistol in my life. I'd start singing to them. Why did I do this? They'd be like, you can't be serious. I'm like, I'm not. I'm just not that guy. I'm not who everybody wants me to be. I'm going to admit it. I'm going on Broadway. I'm going to dance. Dance, I say. I'm going to dance. Shaka-blee, ba-ba-ba-ba. Like Sammy Davis Jr. Bee-ba-ba-bee-ba-ba-bee-ba-ba-bee. No, I'm not going to dance. But I'm just saying, I'm weird, and that's why I'm weird. And now you guys know why I'm weird. So if anybody ever wants to know why Tone is weird, because I grew up with white people. I grew up listening to Kiss. Beth, I hear you calling, but I can't come home right now. Me and the boys are playing. I mean, come on. I was listening to Kiss. Just a few more hours, and I'll be right home to you. Beth, I hear you calling, but what can I do? Peter Criss, Paul Stanley, Gene Simmons. I can't help it. I'm weird. I can't help it. I was listening to Duran Duran. What guy from the hood listens to Duran Duran? Ah. Oh, the night. Come on, I was listening to Tarzan Boy. Me. High school, this guy. Listen to Run DMC and Tarzan Boy. Hi, guys, I don't know what to tell you. This is a guy who's from the hood. And it never stuck. I don't know what to do anymore. I have no choice. I just gotta embrace the fact that I'm weird. All the little hood black girls always thought I was weird. And I was like, why do you think I'm weird? Because I watch Star Trek. But I'm not a Trekkie, but I watch Star Trek. But I'm okay. Okay. Just because I like plays and musical. There's nothing wrong with musicals. What's wrong with a musical? You can't take a chick to the play anymore. She'll be like, what's wrong with you? Like, nothing, I just like musicals. But you can't be a guy from the hood who likes musicals. This is wrong. No hood dude likes musicals. Listen, if you're a hood guy who likes musicals, it's like you can't fight anymore. That's what it's like. Oh, this guy can't fight. He likes musicals. It's like, what do you mean? I just like, this guy can't fight. Let's go pick on him. He likes musicals. Like, wait, what? I can fight? That little girl wants you because they think you can't protect you. They can't be protected. Like, what are you talking about? I just like musicals. Like, you gonna sing them to death, ain't you? I might. But still, I can't like musicals. Can't like musicals. Can't like Maria. Couldn't like Annie. Couldn't like Annie. What's wrong with Annie? It's a hard knock life for us. Hard knock life. Ah, stop it. Stop it. Make it go. I can't. I like musicals. I'm just not a hood dude. It's okay. It's okay. I'll never live up to my hood. Never. Now that I've admitted it, I can never go back. They'll never accept me back from where I came. Because I like musicals. Ease on down. Ease on down. Ease on down the road. Don't you carry nothing? I may be alone. Oh, God. Go ahead. Ease on down. Ease on down the road. Oh, God. The Wiz was better than The Wizard of Oz, by far. By far. By far. The Wiz was better than The Wizard of Oz. I'd rather be dead and red, mean and green. I like musicals, you guys. I'm weird. Girls don't like weird guys. I was watching Black Belt Theater. Just a strange dude. And, can't apologize for being strange anymore. This is why I can't make the music that you hear on the radio. I can't make trap beats. My music does not sound like anyone else's. And I tried to make music like theirs. But it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. So I've given up what sounded like the world. I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm just going to do whatever it is that's in my heart. And I'll forever be the corny black guy. I'm just the corny black guy. I accept it. The corny black guy. What are you doing, bud? That's hard. That's hard. That's hard. So, somebody downloaded one of my songs, just one of my beats. They bought one of my beats. Ain't that cool? The old man's corny beats are paying off. The old man paying off, ain't it? It was only 64 cents, but it was 64 cents more than what I had. $0.64 more than what I had. I take that 64 cents, sir. Sir, ma'am. Sir, ma'am, sir. Whoever that might have been. Sir, ma'am, ma'am. Ma'am, sir, ma'am. very much for your 64 cent. Ma'am, sir, ma'am, sir. Sir, ma'am, sir, ma'am. Sir, ma'am, sir, ma'am. And please come again, sir, ma'am. Sir, ma'am, sir. And enjoy your music. Sir, ma'am, sir, ma'am, sir. And I hope they get music off of it. And then put it on the internet so I can cut royalties off. Yo, man. That's the whole point. Thank you, ma'am, sir. Come again. I'll take another 64 cents from you. Sir, ma'am, sir, ma'am, sir. Sir, ma'am, ma'am, sir, ma'am. If you don't mind. You go ahead and share with your friends. Go ahead and share with your friends. Because I need some more 64 cents. 64 cents. That's all I'm asking for. Gotta get another 64. Gotta get another 64 cents out of you. I ain't asking for much. I ain't asking for much. Just 64. Keep rapping for the dark skin. Yeah, I'm gonna keep rapping for him, Tim. I represent for the dark skin, for the strange, for the castaways, for the castigated, for the weird dudes who was listening to West Side Story back in the day, who was watching musicals with old people and was enjoying it. For the dudes who grew up in the hood but was never hood dudes and women. Yeah, for the people who like to be cultured. For those of us who just don't understand hood Negroes. For the quiets. For the eccentric. For the artistic. For those who love life. For those who actually do smell flowers. And love it. For those who know what a chrysanthemum is, a purple cornflower. Yeah. Yeah. For those of us who know what the purpose of a dandelion is, Respect. Respect to the strange and the educated. We will always be strange in their eyes. Always be strange. But you know what? Somebody likes it. Somebody out there somewhere is like, you know what? I like that strange music that dude makes. And you know why I know somebody out there likes it? Because somebody bought one of my songs. Somebody bought a song from me. I don't know what state or city and or county or district and country they're in, but they bought one. And I just got paid $10, and my little, $10 check just came. And I get that $10 check I used to get it like once every year, then once every 8 months. Now I counted how long it took me to get this one, and I got it in 5 months. And for those of you who do not understand what a celebration that is, or the slight compliment that is, or the fuel that it is to keep me going and doing this stuff, when you are being recognized for something that you did way back in 2009, you thought nobody was really digging it, and you did it with this broken thing. It's all broken up now. It's what I started making music with right here, the MacBook. You did it with that, and then you took it from there, and you went to this broken thing right here. You were making your CDs, printing them out on this, and then going to the clubs and standing on the outside of the club and handing people your CDs. Yeah, that was me. That was this guy right here. Standing outside trying to get my CD into people's hands. And then write more songs with a guitar and going to every open mic night and singing my little corny songs. And people would buy my CD. Now, what I was singing wasn't on there, but nonetheless, it was just showing the different styles of music that I enjoy and, singing about and stuff like that. And now this music is being streamed all over the place. Now, $10 ain't a lot, but it's the point. I used to get it every 8 months, then every 6, now every 5. And now that TikTok has figured out some of my music, and Facebook has been, everybody's a DJ on Facebook. They're streaming my songs. So it is an accomplishment. And I'm happy about it. And I got a whole bunch of music that they ain't even heard from way back in the day. I got a bunch of it. Ain't even heard it. I don't even play it anymore. That's how old some of this music is that I have. I don't even play it anymore. And when I hear it, I'm surprised. I'm like, wait, whoa. What's this? And I'm finding out people like my corny stuff. And I used to take this computer and go and stand in my closet and use the microphone off of this computer. This old MacBook, Generation 1. And used to stand there and record myself holding my computer. In the closet, in the dark, doing all my little lines and stuff like, oh my God. So long ago, you were my love, oh my love. I love making music. I love making all kind of artsy stuff. I'm artsy. I'm an artsy dude. I'm an artsy dude. I'm artsy. I actually went to art school. I did. Some people don't believe me, but I did. I went to art school. I was an artist. Learn how to paint and draw. Oh, it's too hot, too hot, too hot, baby. Yeah. Went to art school. All that good stuff. I'm an artist. Boom, 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 boom. I was putting on plays when I was 5. It's funny how we took the time to stop and feel the need. Cool in the Gang. I'm an artist. I'm a little weird. But my weirdness is starting to be recognized as a good thing. That's what I need. I need some good weird vibes. Because I know that I'm weird. Even today, people look at me, the brothers and black women, especially black women. They look at me and they don't know what to think of me. And they do like this. They stare at me like this. They really do this. Right around here. They've been seeing me for years. And they do. Because I'm not like them. And I have a high amount of, I have a very high vibration. Very, very, very high. Some people are afraid of it. Some people are very afraid of it. Was there something there? Did we miss something? Did we miss something? like that. I get a clap in there. Okay. Add some sound. I like this, but I like the drums later. I'll come back to the drums. I need some sound. Get some layers on it. Almost like that. Check this out. I think it's something like this. Okay, we'll try that. See what we can add to it. almost like it. I didn't like that last one. Oh, it's a bass line. Oh, hold on. Ah, you heard me. Ah, I'm gonna try this. All right, it's not gonna go like that. Everybody's probably gone. Everybody's gone. Yep, everybody's gone. Cool, I'm enjoying this.